Aliens! We're back with another movie review here, 1986, and it's time for Aliens, the second installment of the Alien franchises, and we're back with Ripley. Sigourney Weaver is back, bitches, and she is here in Aliens, and I mean, it's better than the original. Hands down, it's better than the original. I feel like the original's very overrated. I've already talked about the original, so we're going to dive into this one. And I don't even think it's a simple case of action. I mean, well, it kind of is, and it kind of ain't, but again, with this one, it's 2 hours and 17 minutes, and it just doesn't need to be that long. It really doesn't. But basically, the good thing about this is Ripley is awoken. We are like, I think it's like 68 years later, because of course she's been like frozen. But there is a massive time skip, of course, being 68 years later, and they have lost basically contact with on this colony, and it turns out the colony's overrun with aliens. So basically Ripley is sent in with this marine team. We've got Private Hudson, we've got Corporal Dwayne. Hicks is great, so's Hudson, to be fair, they're both great, those two. We've got Vasquez, who's pretty good, Bishop's in there, Carter Burke, who's like the bad guy, Sergeant Apone, who gets jobbed out. We've got a bunch of lieutenants, corporals, this, that, and the fourth. We've got the Queen Alien with Private Frost, with Private Drake, man. All these guys are all about to fucking die, essentially. But, I mean, Ripley warns them, right? And it's like, yeah, I mean, I kind of get what they're doing. Oh, yeah, man, Ripley, she thought she saw a xenomorph, an alien. But come on the fuck, like, especially when you're dealing in space, like, you know, and she describes it in such a described way. I mean, you just don't make shit like that up for what the fucking giggles, like. Bit stupid, but yeah, they go in, and then of course they get, like, as the crew is, like, in this one area, it's like, she's like, that is the one area where you can't shoot, or else this colony, this planet will be blown to smithereens. And then, Thingy puts over the, is it Gorman? I think it's Gorman. Gorman puts over, like, the radio. He's like, Apone, tell your men not to shoot, and tell them to give him your magazines. And it's like, see, at this point, right, you cannot be going into an area that may be riddled with these xenomorphs, riddled with these aliens, with no ammo, just the flame rounds. Oh, I know, like, the flame rounds work, like, but at this point, is it not just time to fucking retreat? Potentially, but then it's where basically everyone gets wiped out. Literally everyone. I mean, there is a few people like me, but it was a big marine fucking crew. Like, Hudson survives, Hicks survives, Vasquez survives, Bishop survives. I mean, you have a few other people that survives. Of course, we had Burke, Gorman, and Ripley in the hang. Ripley then decides, fuck this shit. We obviously find the what's the little kid called? Moot. Hoot. It's Moot, isn't it? Pretty sure. What's her fucking name? Doesn't really matter what her name is, because she's fucking she died going into the third one. So yeah, Moot, Hoot. I think her name's Moot. But yeah, she basically takes control of like the armoured vehicle that they're in, ramps through, manages to get a load of them to safety here. But it's actually good. Like, you actually see like a load of action scenes with like the taking on xenomorphs. Like, some xenomorphs are wiped out easily, but you gotta bear in mind, in the first one there wasn't any guns. I mean, they were literally using fucking lead pipes and shit. And that confirms it. But now they've essentially got to get off the planet. But sadly, like, I mean, not everything can go to plan in these movies. Burke tries to kill Ripley and Mute by leaving them in there with like one of the face huggers, but they managed to fight it off. Intriguingly though, this movie was made on 18.5 million. I mean, that's pretty good. In the box office it made like 183 million, so that's a shit ton of profit there. But once they find out about Burke, they're like, fuck you, man. But then they get attacked by aliens and he like almost escapes. But yeah, of course he was gonna die, man. Burke was always going to bite the bullet here, one way or another. Hicks though, Hicks manages to survive, of course. Hudson's dead. Vasquez and Gorman, they blow themselves up, wiping out a bunch of xenomorphs in the progress. Ripley then gets into the big robotic machine and takes on the alien. I mean, it's good. Like, I honestly just don't believe it's much better than the first one. I think the first one's so fucking slow. But again, with this one, it does not need to be 2 hours and 17 minutes long. It doesn't. Like, you will struggle to find a movie that is like over 2 hours and be like, that was perfect. They didn't drag any of that out. You know, like they are just kind of dragged out. To be fair, Bishop, of course, I mean that's that iconic scene where he gets slashed in half. The scene as well, where it's like the Queen, the big massive fucking alien. Like, of course it's bigger, like, and it's a bigger threat, but I guess it's kind of just prone to the same stuff. You know, like gunfire and fucking the fire, like. But you know, at this point, it's kind of like, right, you've got to get out of here. The Xenomorphs can't coming back, man. But Ripley lays waste to the Queen. Stay away from her, you bitch. And the scene where she comes down the elevator with a gun, oh, that's pretty good. I'll give you that. Aliens get wiped out left, right, and centre. It's fantastic. Can't argue it. And then she basically locks them, free them in the pods at the end. But of course, the other two die, and I feel like that will be questionable, to be honest, among people that watch these movies. To be honest, like, you get to the third one, these two characters who were pretty big just die. Bit weird, guys. But in terms of this movie, I gave the first one like a 7. I'll give this one an 8. It's really good as well. You know, well, I'll say it's really good as well. I didn't really like the first one, but I meant it was really good. First one's alright, good, but this one is a much better. It's like a more modern take, even though it's only like 7 years later.